Nandy, Evie, Nando, and Furia. Next one we gotta do. Okay, have a drink of water. Alright, so today we're going to be covering the champion profile on Evie.
The battle is about
Koga is going to drop, by the way, into the K's, and he will be between Kanessa and Lex when Dredge comes out. I will do the Koga video then. Basically, my plan is I want to do it in alphabetical order, and I knew they were going to release a new champion before I got around to doing Koga, which is why I waited on him doing him right away. When Dredge comes out, I'm not going to hit him until they remove the new title. That's pretty much how it's going to work when I do these champion profiles. But I don't know if I'm going to get Nando done today. I should do it tomorrow at least, but today we've got Evie.
I should spend my credits.
So, the first thing to note on Evie, when you look at her kit, is that realistically, you want to view Evie as a pure flanker. She has the best high-risk, high-reward strategy. Having 1800 health, the lowest health in the game with no way to buff it, means you are the most susceptible. She is the most mobile character in the game, in my opinion, but she does not require movement speed. She does not require mobility to be effective. One of the things to realize with Evie is that Evie plays around 3 escape skills. Your Ice Block, your Blink, and your Soar should all be used as escape abilities. Obviously, Blink and Soar are movement abilities. Well, Ice Block, in my opinion, is. Ice Block can be used because it prevents movement. You can cancel that to drop yourself in a situation. For example, cons try and launch me out. As soon as I come out, I'll activate Ice Block rather than Blink or Soar, because it will drop me instantly. So if he's trying to just chuck me a long distance away, like for example on Fish Market, if he's not actually bringing me to the edge of the map, I will just activate it. If he's like on the point and he tries to chuck me off through a gap or something, I will activate Ice Block, because I'll generally have enough time if I can get it out early enough to do that. That's a pro tip on Ice Block. Now a lot of people say, well, you don't have the credentials to talk about Evie because Evie's your lowest champion. Well, that's not true. Evie may be my lowest champion, maybe my lowest flanker, but she's not my lowest champion. Can I arc that shot? I want to hit that. No. Yeah, I can still poke. Okay. So let's look at Evie's kit, first of all. So you only get 6 shots in your gun, basically, and it deals 850 damage in an area. But the area is not very big. That deals a little bit of damage. Trying to strafe and the auto aim is fucking. And see, now that'll hit Sky, but it won't hit Ying. And that'll hit nobody. So it's not a large AoE. If that was a Bomb King or a Drogos, that would be hitting. And then on a direct shot, you're popping for 850. The other problem too with her is that she doesn't have a lot of what I would call wing effect to her. See, that's a miss, even though that should have hit. That's a hit, even though it was off center. And yet that only did 300 damage. Then there's another one. That hit the shield. That missed completely. That hit him because of the hitbox. That missed completely. That hit his knee because of the hitbox. And yet that missed completely. That makes Evie very hard to hit. Not to mention the fact, over long distances, again, this is where this comes in, it's a projectile-based weapon. That missed. That missed. That missed. That missed. That missed. All of those shots missed because it's a projectile. So in a moving situation at long range, she's not very effective. Now, I personally have called Evie one of my snipers because I like that ability. I like Evie's ability to be able to post up at long range and rain down static shots and suppress an area. But basically when Dredge comes out, Dredge is going to take on that role, so Evie's going to be much more of a flank. Now this is the other way that I play Evie, is much more up close and personal. See, When Evie's in your face fucking you up like that,
You're on to me.
Killing spree.
this is where I think, by the way, this is another good thing with tracking type aim. You want to work on the pip chamber. You don't want to move your left analog stick at all.
Double kill. That's 5 in a row.
Next
You want to
time,
move
try
your
dodging more.
right. You want to move your left stick on this aiming exercise. So you want to have the pip. I love the death.
That's 7 in a row. Double kill.
You want to make sure that your aim is you're moving your left analog stick, and so that you use it to strafe. See, on projectile-based champions,
should
a lot of
spend
times
my
I see people
credits.
trying to madly aim with their right analog stick, when in fact it's better to aim with your left. Get a bead on a champion and follow their position to track them.
That's 9 in a row.
So you're trying to lead a target, you need to predict. Ah, that one threw my aim off when they crossed.
That's 11
See,
in a row.
that's what I'm talking about.
I
That
should
practices
spend my
your aim, and
credits.
that'll help you with Evie and Androxus. People say Evie, Bomb King, Damba, and Androxus are like the hardest to aim with champions. And Evie fits the bill. Evie fits the bill more than Androxus. I really don't think Androxus is that hard of a champion to aim with. It's more about his sustain. So looking at Evie's kit again, so you have 3 escape abilities, and you should view Ice Block as an escape ability, because here's why. So we have 3 escape abilities right here. You have 3 cards that all buff your escape abilities, and they all literally have the same function. They give you an escape option if you're in a bad situation. Now think about it. So, let's say you're soaring, and you soar into the bad position. Over the Moon gives you more damage to fight people off. Let's say you ice block in a bad spot and you've got people camping you. Reprieve gives you the ability to heal up and sustain. Let's say that you blink into a bad situation. Wormhole gives you the ability to back out. So these abilities all give you... These are all, in my opinion, abilities that are escape options. They buff your escape option because what they do is they give you the tools to survive a bad situation. You got too aggressive on a blink or a soar or an ice block. These all help you get out of it slightly. And the varying degrees of success. My personal favorites are Reprieve and Over the Moon. I feel that those 2 cards are the best cards you can run on her. I personally hate Wormhole Evie, and that's gonna shock a lot of people. I cannot stand that move, blink, 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 blink. If I'm running a Wormhole Evie, I'm running it for the double heal over the actual movement. And then Snow Globe is a card that was pretty much untouchable before, but now that it only costs 50% energy, it's very, very, very useful. And I'll explain why. Basically, the 2 cards that I would recommend for a newcomer to Evie are Reprieve and Snow Globe. And now people will continue to shit on me and say, oh, well, you can't talk, you don't have that much time on Evie. If you're looking at my stats, you're not able to see my custom games. I have more time on custom game with Evie than literally any other champion. I have over 65 matches on Evie, which is, for me, I don't play custom games. I think I have maybe a total of 200 custom games in my lifetime. And Evie's the champion that I will not play around. When I was doing, like, tournament custom games, Evie was the champion I would not play around them. She was my secret weapon in custom games. In not a 5v5. I don't really like her in a 5v5. I like her in, a 3v3 or a 4v4. I don't like 1v2 and 2v. 1v1 and 2v2. Sorry. It's too early in the morning for this. But let's take a look now. Over the Moon has the highest degree of skill. We're gonna look at Wormhole first off. So this is my Wormhole build. Now the thing is, you get a timer on the screen that ticks down and lets you know how long you have to teleport back. And they nerf it. I don't see the nerf. A lot of Evie players that abuse the fuck out of this card do, but I don't see it. This is more of an ammo reset because you have to blink around so much. So Cold Acclimation is a standard in all of my builds, but a lot of people aren't going to run it. And the reason why is your weapon automatically knocks someone back when you fire. When it hits somebody, they get knocked back slightly. When you shoot, it knocks you back slightly. And that can be dangerous. Not to mention the fact that you're such a low health champion, your weapon dealing damage to you is a problem to me. And that's the thing with area of effect people. You see on Pip I have that same thing, because in a close quarters situation, you do not want to be there firing at someone, running the risk, oh god, not only can they kill me, I can kill myself. So it's a card I always run at 100%. I'm not taking... My weapon is for damaging other people, not for me. And if there was a card on Willow and Drogas to reduce self-damage, I would run it wholeheartedly. I don't know if Dredge can damage himself with his own attacks. I'm going to have to find that out. And this is a lot of speculation on Dredge because I love that fucker when he comes out. I have builds for him. And I said this with Koga, but I really did not expect Koga to have the no-skill requirement. And for somebody that... Like, I like no-skill players if I can make them into skilled players, and I like skilled players if I can make them into no-skill players. That's kind of how I play. We see that with Evie here, with people say, oh, she has no skill now. The rest of the cards, in my opinion, are just filler cards. This is built around Flicker 5, where heal for 375, and then the increased range. I really did not need anything else, so I mostly went for ammo, because she has a slow reload. This is what you have to realize with Evie. So you have low health, okay? You have, to be honest, if you want to reliably hit somebody, you have a relatively low effective range. You have low ammo, you have a long reload time. What you get is high damage. 850 damage a shot is nice. You can 3-shot most other champions. Every champion except for... No, on every champion it's a 3-shot, even Evie, because I'm doing the math in my head. It's like, if it was 900, that'd be one thing. If it was 900 a shot, but it's 850, so she'll still come away with 100 health. But, so what's the advantage to Blink? Well, Blink is, so you have the increased range on it. It doesn't feel like a lot, though. That's not the range. Now you get to use this for vertical mobility, and a lot of people will do that weird thing we'll show off in a second. So, let's say we have a target here, right? So we'll go, shoot, teleport, shoot, teleport, shoot, teleport. It's hard to get your aim for that. That's what takes a lot of practice. The big thing in my opinion is that every time you teleport, you get almost 400 health. So every 4 seconds, you should legit be getting 800 health, which is a little bit under half your health. It's not very effective for a tactical situation.
Spend my credits.
Godlike!
Not very effective on that. When you have 3 or 4 other people. If I have somebody here, and here, and here, and here shooting me, it's very hard to shoot, blink, shoot, blink, shoot. That's not going to be possible in a situation with such a low health character. It's just not. That's why I'm not a fan of her. The other thing too is, so let's say we shoot, soar for ammo, you cancel with the fire, get the ammo back on the ice block. And basically, the problem with the Blink build on Wormhole is that you are using all of your other abilities, you're using them as fillers until your Blink comes up. You're building your whole build around a 4-second cooldown ability, which is great, but your other abilities have such a long cooldown. That's why I prefer Over the Moon and Soar, because I'm building around a 10 and a 14-second cooldown, and I'm able to use whatever my other ability that I'm not using. For example, let's say we're building around Soar. So I have a 4-second and a 14-second ability that I can build around and sandwich in between for benefits. That's why it's not a big thing. You know, that move crap is not great. Also, you know, I get into the only thing I really see viable on that double blink strategy is just being annoying as fuck. with the constant movement, it makes you hard to hit. And that's the thing with Evie. Evie is the best flanker in the game. But that doesn't make her the best flank. She's very good at just constant moving around. Blink, high, shoot, shoot. I'm running out, blink back, soar up into the air, wee, ice block for annoyance. And I'm back again for the blink. Oh, I'm over here now, and then I blink again. Not very effective for dealing damage in a situation like that, but in an enemy backline, annoying the fuck out of them. Maybe your Strix has time to line up a headshot. Maybe a Drogo's bombarding. You know, maybe your tanks just sit there on the point. Fernando does his laughing emote pointing at them while an Evie gets up in their backline. Xin, in my opinion, plays this role better. This is why I prefer Xin over Evie. In my opinion, Xin has better sustain options for being able to do that, get in the back line and annoy the enemy team. Whether it's retaliation counter, whether it's a smolder billow, he just has better moves in my opinion. And you want to look at Xin, by the way, as having the same thing. Evie doesn't, the difference between Evie and Xin in my opinion is that Evie does not have, very good attack off of her abilities. Because Ice Block cannot be used for anything but heal, basically. So that leaves Reprieve, that leaves Reprieve out. So you have Soar and you have Blink. And you can say this is effective, but in my opinion, it's not really that effective. And then we'll get into the Soar one in a minute where you can buff damage off of that. But it's also not as effective with what Xin does, where Xin can directly buff damage on his movement abilities. Same thing. And he has a better heal than Evie's Ice Block. So let's talk about that. So the next one we'll do would be, we'll do Reprieve next. I'll do Snow Glow Blast. This is probably my most effective card. So this is the key here is, Cold-Blooded does not really need to be at 5. And that's the thing that's important to note. Because this gives you a higher threshold for healing than Blink does. This puts it at a 10-second cooldown. And again, I have the same 2 filler cards here so that when I, like, spam abilities rapidly to try and escape, if I get caught in a reload, I can try and escape off of a couple of different options. One problem for me is I find myself having to activate Ice Block with, like, no ammo. So that giving me one shot just to try and kill something and get the fuck out, that's a better strategy for me. You really don't need it at 10. So now this gives you a 10-second cooldown on Ice Block, a 10-second on Soar, and a 4-second on Blink. Though, that is a good amount of cooldown in my opinion. And you can buy Chronos, and you can drop that down to 9 seconds if you want, if you really need it. I don't think you do. I think Morale Boost is too important on Evie. Like, champions where their ult is like, so... It's not necessarily that's effective, it's just so situational that you don't want to miss that time where you need it. Not to mention the fact that Evie, it's kind of a weaker thing, but we'll get to that later with her ult. We'll talk about her ult in depth on Snow Globe. So, this right here, so now you basically, you heal 300 health per second during Reprieve. So now on Cold-Blooded, you have a 10-second cooldown, and 3 seconds of it is you're healing up. So that's 900 health, and you get to blink out of it for another 300. So that's a potential 1200 health swing that you can do. And you get your blink back one more time before Cold-Blooded does, so you can tag on another 300. That's 1500. You can do a 1500 health swing before the cooldown on Ice Block comes back, and basically you can do it all over again. That's obviously if you're not taking damage, but the key to this... So I'm able to heal up quite effectively. I'm going to move my cursor this way and teleport out. That's the key. So I was in a situation where I was about to die, and I was still able to get out with enough health. I was still able to come out with half of a health bar. And that to me is very effective on a Reprieve. It does give you good tanking power, because not only are you damage immune for the 3 seconds on this, but when you come out, you can get another heal. Flicker is a very important card to run, even in some capacity, just so that when you move around, it is such a short cooldown, you can do that. There's not really a lot to talk about here, because it's fairly substandard. It's a tank. You are a tank on this. And that's really how you should play. The next one we'll do Over the Moon. So this is deal 20% more damage for 3 seconds after Soar ends. And this is very effective, because you want to use Soar to get in and Blink to get out. That's generally what you should do on this. Whereas on Wormhole, you want to use Blink to get in and Soar to get out. Basically, you just change it around. So for this, I increase the duration of Soar because now I go from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So I can fly for 4 seconds. Now, this is a good card to run. The problem is you need 4 points into that card, and on some of the other builds, it's not effective. Swift Witch, the flight speed in Soar, that's important. The ammo in Soar, and then Flicker at 1 as the burn, just so I have heals when I teleport in between. I like Swift Witch at 4. If I would take that card out, I would probably put Flicker up to 4. And then have a burn guard, maybe Swift Witch as a burn guard. You can do that if you want. I just like the speed. So, for the big thing for me is, what makes this build so effective where I like it is, I'm only going to be able to land 1 shot, but I'm going to get that big chunk. And if I can land 2 shots, it's pretty much a KO if my team is doing their job and they're just laying down little damage. And as a flanker, you don't want to have to expect that you're going to have to 1v1 an entire person every single fucking time. It's not your job as a flanker. Your job as a flanker is more get in the back, distract, move around, and finish targets. You want to finish what your damages start for you. You're the closer, basically, okay? And Evie really does fit that. You know, Mariano Rivera has, you know, only 2-3 pitches in his rotation, but he had that cutter. That's his finishing move. That's what Evie is. Your Strix pops somebody for you know, 1800, and Evie teleports behind him, blink, dead. I said blink, even though I meant to say plink, because of Evie. Whatever. We're moving on. So this is a good build right here. So, you see the flight speed here, that helps with the mobility. And then the duration is important.
Spend my credits.
And you'll get 2 shots. Legit, you're only going to get 2 shots if you can hit them. But it's good for bursting a target down. I'm only at 1. The key right here is this. So, remember that takes 3 seconds. So, you want to view your cooldown on Soar, by the way, as actually having a 7-second cooldown, because for the next 3 seconds, you're going to be able to do that. The other important thing why I like the increased duration is this. You can cancel your Soar by firing. And that's a very important thing to note. If you're flying directly at somebody and you have a clear line of sight, no, stop that. That's bullshit. Soar. Get your 3 shots in. That's 3,000 damage right there. That's a kill on anything not a tank. Okay? Trust me. Cancel your Soar or no. No, cancel. Now, the other thing, too, I don't run this loadout card because I don't really get as many kills. I actually get more assists than I do kills on Evie, and that's why people shit on me as Evie. But most of my flanks are actually like that. I actually do more damage as a flank than I do as an actual damage character. Because, in my opinion, damage characters are that sit in the back line and shoot from far away type. That's the stereotype. I don't really like that. I like being up close in your face. And I'm not going to get as many kills doing that all the time, but it is helpful. The key on Soar, this is another thing, the duration and the speed allow you to traverse ground so quickly. And that bonus damage does stack on the area. That was normally just a 600 damage shot, and we got up to 757. So that's important to realize as well. But you can run a card where kills will reset the cooldown of Soar. And I just personally don't like that card because I can't reliably. If you're running an over the moon build, it's what you want to run because, okay, so I'm just going to fly over here. Don't mind me.
Say
and kill you, and then the cooldown would be reset where I could soar for a second and then have the bonus on there, and then soar for a second and have the bonus over here. But I'm not of that mentality on Evie. And then the last one is Snow Globe. Now this is one because you do not have to have any build on Snow Globe. It's your ult. Let's look at it. So Ice Storm deals, so it doubles the damage that you deal, but it costs half the time and half of the energy. And then this is just the build that I run. So this is, I have the increased flight speed to get around better. I have more range on Blink. I have Soar generates ammo because I fly around a lot on this build. And then max out the Blink heal. This is flexible. You can run whatever you want on Evie. This is the important thing right here. So you get 2 ult charges. Why is it important? So you can stack 2 on top of each other. That's what makes it so effective. Now, only needing 50% is huge. But the thing is this. The ability to stack 2 ults on top of each other, you can ult, ice block, come out of it, and ult again. Makes it critical. And it does so much damage on Snow Globe. It is very effective. A lot of people say, well, no, you should run the, you should run it to where it does, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. I honestly forgot what I was gonna say, shit. That's Snow Globe in a nutshell. Oh, people say, oh, you should only use it when you get to 50% energy. No, it's not as effective that way. Also note that you can cancel it like that, because this is much more effective. It hits a wide radius of people. That covers the point right there, and they're all one shot afterwards, except for the tank. And they're crippled. They can't leave it. They can't get out of it, really, with an escape ability. That's what makes it so important, is that, you know, they're dead right here. If you get that double ult off, they're dead. As long as you don't die, they're dead with it. And it makes it effective. Now, looking at your items, what should you buy for items? On Evie, you don't need Illuminate. If a Sky, you can get away from a Sky faster than she can get after you. And on Strix, it doesn't helpful at long range. At long range, he does more damage than you, and he has more health than you. He also only has to sidestep because you have a projectile weapon, and he has a hit scan weapon. So you're better off just, like, taking it or avoiding it. Also, if you know you're going up against a sniper, Ice Block is a very bad idea, because they'll just have their freaking crosshair triggered over you, and as soon as you come out, you are dead. You are dead, okay? Unless you're running Reprieve, you're dead. And if you're running Reprieve, hey, guess what? You're still dead, because both of the snipers do 1800 on a headshot or higher. So you're dead. Illuminate's not great. For Shaolin, you know, that's the thing with Illuminate. It only kicks in when you're close enough, and if you're close enough to see them, then you're in range to kill them. Bulldozer's not effective because you deal such a high damage per shot. It's like with Drogos. You don't need Bulldozer. That's another thing to stay away from. Another thing I would say stay away from is Rejuvenate. Most healers' abilities are going to heal you enough where Rejuvenate is not good. Even if you're running multiple healers, I personally cannot recommend Rejuvenate. I cannot believe that. I can't recommend Rejuvenate because she has just such low health. If you have to think, even duration healers like Genos is going to actually heal you up rather quickly with you being lower health. You know, 200 health per second, you're going to get healed up in to full health in 9 seconds. That's not a lot, but it's enough to help you in between. And the other things are so important. So I'm not answering that phone. I'm sick of this every time. Fucking hell. I can't shut the phone off. There we go. Veteran is something I can recommend, because Veteran will, and that's sad. If you're running a Reprieve build, Veteran is a card you should consider. I personally think Kill to Heal and Life Rip. If you're running Over the Moon, you want Life Rip, because every shot out of that is 100 health. So you can stack those little hits up. Kill to Heal is effective on 2 and 3. At 2, you get a third of your health back every Elimmer kill, and on 2, you get half of your health. I'm not answering that. So those are the best cards you can run in the healing category. They're also pretty good out of the gate. You should have one of those out of the gate so you could start healing. Because that's the big thing. You're so low health. On this category, I really can't recommend anything but morale boost. You don't need Nimble. You're fast enough already. Chronos, if you don't like the longer cooldown. If you're not running, you know, kills reduce cooldown. If you're not running the longer cooldown, Chronos is a decent thing to run. It's not worth it compared to morale boost. The faster you get your ult out, the more effective you are. And you don't need Master Rider because you can fly, baby. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Get knocked off your horse, just fly onto the point. Finishing off this category, Haven blast shields are important. Haven is crucial if you're going up against Sniper. Even if, you know, the rest of the team could be area, they could run Saris, Drogos, Nendo, and Evie with the Strix. You want Haven. Because you have to realize that literally you are dead from any headshot on a Sniper. Just dead. There's no question about it. On Haven, if you come out of your ice block and you get hit with a headshot, you will be left with the thinnest of health. You'll be left with like 5 health. But you're still alive. It's still 5 health. And that's important to note. You need that escape. Now, if you're going up against Kanetha with Eagle Eye, you're still toast. You have to get Haven up to 3 in order to survive a headshot. Which is 20% damage reduction off of the headshot. Which, you're still not going to survive. So, against Kanetha, there's nothing you can do. She gets the headshot and you're fucked. But on Strix, it's very important for Haven. Like, literally. Evie versus Strix, Haven, out of the gate. Haven is something that is crucially important to reducing the damage that you take. Haven or blast shields. And this is the problem. She's one of those champions where I say, you know, if the enemy team is split between Haven and blast shields, you should buy resilience. Evie is not that champion. Evie can get around crowd control pretty effectively. And that's one of the things I don't like about Wormhole is, for example, if you teleport and Damba stuns you before you can teleport back, you're toast. Or if you teleport into a cripple, like a cripple field or a cripple bomb, you're dead. You can't teleport back. That's another reason why I don't like it. Is because, you know, you're basically wasting a legendary card on not being able to use its effectiveness at all. Resilience is helpful for that, where, you know, okay, the longer you're stunned, the lower health you are, the more you take damage. But, in my opinion, it's not worth it. You need the Haven or the Blast Shields to reduce damage that you take. Because you're gonna die if you don't know how to move around. And as Evie, you're gonna take some cheap shots every now and then. I didn't really talk about this. So, Wrecker is pretty decent, but you should not be on shield duty. You're such low health. You're not gonna be like, okay, I want you dead. If you're going up against a Vivian, or it's important to get it just so that you can, like, one-shot the shield. And then Cauterize is always good because then they can't out-heal the damage you're doing, so it kind of puts them on the same level as you. Where they can't out-heal the damage you deal, because if you're actively trying to kill them and you're not focused on sustain, you're not going to use your abilities to heal yourself. You're not going to be able to use Reprieve. You're not going to be able to use Blink. So, that's important. Deft Hands is a sneaky pick. You do have a rather long reload time, and that's helpful for having reduced downtime. Your downtime is when your abilities are on cooldown and when you have to reload. You're better off getting cards that'll give you 1 ammo as filler. When you activate ability, you'll get ammo off of it, but it's not as effective. Still, I actually prefer Wrecker and Caught over Deft Hands. I end up buying Deft Hands in-game when I get pissed off. The first 2 things you want are healing and defense. Utility, in my opinion, there's only morale boost. I don't like Eevees that run Nimble or Chronos. You're fast enough already, and there are loadout cards that you can run that can boost your movement speed, like 50% movement speed for 4 seconds after Ice Block. That card's at level 5. You know, you can do that, just like run around like a madman afterwards, but you don't need Nimble. You can do loadout cards for it. You're fast enough, or you have the fastest movement speed in the game. That's something important to note. So Nimble doesn't help you as much. It's been more me rambling on. It's early in the morning and I don't care. I'm gonna do this. Because I'm here. I'm gonna get a double kill and then I'm gonna bug out. I'm gonna show you how you want to use the snow globe Evie. Ready?
Credits.
So we're gonna blink.
Double kill. Triple kill.
That's how you use an ice. That's how you play
Out of
Evie
mana.
on that build. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope it's been entertaining. It probably hasn't, but bye.